Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA. Today myself and Luke are going to do a roundup of the football action from Division 2, and we're going to start with the result that kind of jumps out off the sheet at us. Obviously Galway and Meath built as the two sides that are among the favourites to go back up to Division 1. Obviously Galway relegated last season, Meath relegated the season before. But my God, was this game anything but competitive. Galway 114, Meath 6 points. Meath taking 45 minutes to register their first point from Joey Wallace. A goal and 9 to no score at half time in favour of Galway. Galway looked very impressive, but it was really too easy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that scoreline at halftime raised an awful lot of eyebrows where it's pretty rare that you see a team not scoring in the first half. I know, look, the conditions play a factor in that as well. This seems to happen every single time that games are played in Salt Hill, is that at least kind of the team that ever plays the first half seems to be playing in a complete downwind, and that it seems nearly impossible for teams to be able to compete in one half. So nearly in a way, like, you might like to see Galway home games maybe being moved somewhere like Tuam or somewhere where it's not quite as harsh conditions, but still, look, both teams have to play it, and yeah, look, Galway look completely dominant, and all of a sudden, it's a very, very strong team. They've kind of got a few new faces into that team to strengthen it up. Like, in particular, Owen Gallagher, he's playing in around centre half forward. He's been a real interesting kind of addition in there, and is doing very, very well. So yeah, look, they look to be in a pretty good place, Galway, right now. They've very much kind of close to their full strength team out already in the league, and yeah, look, there, I think that this could be a common team, that they might be dispatching all the other teams in Division 2 by similar enough scorelines to this. I'm just looking at their squad compared to the others in Division 2, and I think they're just like a level above, and I think it's a bit puzzling how they found themselves in this position in the first place, because that's a team I think that could be even competing at the top of Division 1 if they were there. So yeah, look, ideal start for Galway, and for me, look, I know it was a tough off season for them with Andy McEntee and everything as well. And look, I think it's probably the worst possible start for Andy McEntee. He could really done with pushing kind of Galway close just to make sure and to kind of confirm his position and everything as well. So he's going to be under a bit of pressure for the next few weeks. So they'll be keen to bounce back straight away.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, a grim day for me, GAA. Galway, on the other hand, a great result for them. And I mean, Kieran Malloy, Sean Kelly, Killian McDade, all attacking from defence. They all look really good. Then, of course, in the forwards, you mentioned about Owen Gallagher. He was very, very impressive. Shane Walsh in the corner looked as good as he ever has. I mean, fantastic scores from him all through the game. My favourite one was when he checked back onto the right foot and kicked it over. That made it 113 to 2 points. It was a trademark Shane Walsh point. For me, yeah, grim day. And the way that they conceded the goal just kind of summed it all up. Tom O'Callaghan scored the goal for Galway, but it was a sideline from Shane Walsh that he kicked in, bounced off the hands of Ronan Ryan, who failed to catch it. And Tom O'Callaghan gets a mediocre kind of power, in terms of power, fist to the ball, and it somehow ends up going past Harry Hogan into the back of the net, which, of course, Harry Hogan is the 13th goalkeeper that Andy McEntee has tried out for Meath in his tenure. So clearly the goalkeeper position still a problem for Meath. They haven't really been able to settle on a choice in goal there. But for Galway, again, it's only really looking up for Galway under Pádraig Joyce. I mean, he was trying to play it down by saying the conditions played everything, but I think Galway looked quite good, and I am happy with them as my pick for Division 2 champions. So moving on then from that Galway and Meath game, of course, then onto the other games in Division 2. Derry are the other side, Luke, that me and you picked to go up to Division 1. And they started off their campaign by beating down by a goal and 10 to 6 points. Derry's decision making in this game I thought was very, very good. Some gorgeous points from Paul Cassidy and from Kieran McFall, who was absolutely fantastic throughout the game. He was given very much kind of a free role. He played as almost like a second centre half back. He was highlighted on the Sunday game even for how good he was. I mean, the Niall Loughlin goal was a fantastic team move from Derry. Down, the game kind of could have changed. Caelan Mooney had a goal chance, which was cleared off the line by Ethan Doherty. But apart from that, I mean, Derry were the absolute superior team in this game.
Yeah, look, and I think it's probably no surprise based on the teams that are laid out that They went with a very, very strong side, and look, that midfield is it's so good with the likes of Glass and Bradley, all them around, and yeah, look, I think Derry, with the teams that they're fielding right now, like I think it'll take a brave kind of man to predict against them, not to go back up. I think they just look very, very strong this year. You look at McGuigan up in the full forward line, Lachlan, all these lads in around there, they're well able to kind of kick and scores. They've got the Slot Neil boys back as well, because like look at that full back line, Brendan Rodgers, Chrissy McKaig. It's so strong in there too. And look, only conceding 6 points. I know the conditions play into that there as well, but yeah, it's a very strong Derry team, and I wouldn't be surprised if like if the 15 that played there at the start at the weekend, if that's close to the championship team, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, look, I think they're going to take some beating, and I think it's pretty fair to say that them and Galway are probably the early favourites, maybe with Roscommon just behind.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned there about the defence, and that's what you kind of expect from a Rory Gallagher team. Derry's defence absolutely fantastic. Didn't allow Down to score a point from play in the second half. And I know the conditions have an impact, but that also speaks to how strong Derry are at the back. James McCartan's first game in charge of Down, he probably would have wanted a better start, but he's back in the job there now. But he just came up against a brilliant Derry side, which have so much momentum behind them. And Gallagher definitely has his eyes on Division 1 with this Derry team. And you mentioned about Roscommon. They also got their campaign off to a winning start, beating Cork by 6 points, 1 goal and 13 points to 10 points. Not the start that Keith Ricken would have wanted. Enda Smith popped up with the crucial goal. Of course, he drove it low. Micheál Martin got a hand to it, nearly saved it, but it ended up in the back of the net. Roscommon go on to get the victory. I mean, the key stat for me in this game, Roscommon went in with a good lead at halftime, aided by a strong wind. Cork came out in the second half with the wind advantage, and they kicked 10 second half wides. 5 of them were in the first 8 minutes. So obviously they're a bit impatient, tried to kind of just take rush shots. You think, oh, okay, we have the wind at our back now, so we can shoot from pretty much anywhere. And they racked up a load of wides in the second half, and that proves to really be the difference. Roscommon, a very wise team. They know what it takes to get out of Division 2. And I think that's kind of what helped them beat Cork today.
Yeah, completely. And look, I think after all the talk of Roscommon's under 20s last year and the likes of players that are going to come through there, you see kind of some of the more established lads stepping up on the day. Like you look at the two Smiths and the Downey, they kicked 1-9 between them. Keane McKeown kicked 3 points as well. Look, so in the end, like it's those seasoned kind of lads that have been playing National League. They've played Division 1 football for years and everything as well. They just have too much experience for a Cork side that are very, very new. And look, I think the big thing to take from this game is that for people looking to keep Ricken and expecting immediate results, like I don't think you can expect that. And I think the objective for Cork this year is to stay up in Division 2. I think it's going to be tight enough. I think that they might struggle a little bit in Division 2. And look, I think they just need to make sure they don't get relegated. I think that's the best possible start for what's going to be a pretty considerable rebuild for Cork that could take a little while. Look, the players are there. There's so much talent there, but I think it's going to take a long time for them to have things right and to be ready to go and play at a level where they're actually competing.
Yeah, well, it'll be a fascinating journey to watch to see how Keith Ricken can take Cork back to the contenders that they were 10 years ago. Another Munster side which made a different start to Cork, Clare, they overcame Offaly by 113 to 7 points. It didn't look great for them early on. They were 5 points to 2 down after some wonderful kicking from Bernard Allen. Then Dylan Hyland kicked a lovely point to put Offaly, into a very, very controlling position. But then after that first initial 25 minutes where Offaly were on top, Clare outscored Offaly by a goal and 12 to 2 points. So I mean, that kind of shows how good Clare were after that. Of course, the key men for them, Owen Cleary and Keelan Sexton, again, were fantastic. And Dara Bohannon popped up with the crucial goal from Clare. Bit of a statement, as including ourselves, we kind of wondered, is this the year where Clare go down from Division 2? They've been there for so long. But this start is a very good one. But for Offaly, kind of ominous signs because, I don't see them beating any of Galway, Derry, Roscommon. I mean, they're going to have to start picking up wins soon.
Yeah, look, and I think it's a good point about Offaly. I think that this would have been one of the games they're really targeting, especially halftime. They were still well in that game as well. But look, Clare just completely took over the second half. And look, I think the real positive take from Clare, I think it's the forward options now all of a sudden. Like you already talked about Cleary and Keelan Sexton. They still have David Tubridy in the full forward line. Pierce Lillis popping up with scores. But it's when you look at the players that came out that are on the bench there and ready to come on. Jamie Malone came on, kicked 2 points. Cahill Downs and then Aina McMahon as well have had really, really good Sigerson Cup campaigns with UL already, and they're even kicking good tallies, I suppose, in the Sigerson Cup too. So there's a lot of young talents that come into that half forward line and full forward line as well. So I think that's an a very, very big positive, I think, for Clare going forward. That look, there's talent there. There's a lot to work with for them as well. So they'll be delighted with that start. And yeah, do you know what? I think like if they can keep pushing on, they can have another very good Division 2 campaign. And yeah, it's just the ideal start.
Yeah, without doubt. It'd be fascinating to see how Division 2 goes from here. I mean, I'm still sticking with my tips of Derry and Galway to get promoted, Galway as champions, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Guys, that is the end of me and Luke's roundup of the Division 2 action for week 1. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And until the next episode, guys, take care.